not a bad idea, actually. Might steal that and claim that as my own.
Your pergola's leaking.
How badly?
Very bad.
Ah.
With the pergola leaking so fast, I needed a quick fix, and while this weather was happening, the only thing I could think of was some plastic sheeting.
I thought they said this was clear. 250 times stronger than glass, so hopefully if I just lob this, it should be okay. Here goes nothing. Ah! Success!
If you call throwing it over the top and landing it in the pond the other side success, then yeah.
Ah.
I could already tell this wasn't going to be my day, but I had to persevere in order to protect everything under the pergola, so I thought I'd cut the plastic and get it stretched out so I can get it over the top. All I have to do now is figure out how on earth you open it.
I don't understand. Okay. Aha. Aha. No. Aha. No. Okay.
Once I learnt the basics of unfolding a plastic sheet, I then stretched it over the roof to make a protective layer over the top of the pergola until it dries and I can fix this. Okay, it's now waterproof. There's a few little drops from where it's obviously still in the seams, but I should take care of it until we come up with a clever solution in which we can make this properly waterproof.
Right, that's it. No more problems now. Don't want any more.
This really wasn't going to be my week. Well, my week isn't going anywhere near how I thought my week was going to go. I wanted to do some more work on the north garden and it looks like it's going to rain all week. It looks like I now need to fix the leak in the pergola roof and make sure that works properly. Fix the deck stair that I've just put my foot through. I don't really know what else could go wrong at this point.
You could bring the Christmas lights in.
Choosing to ignore that comment, I head straight to bed and decide it's better to rest and then go back to the workshop in the morning to fix my mess.
The first thing on my lists of things I need to fix this week is the deck step. Now, as you saw earlier, my foot went straight through it. And unfortunately, it's not just the deck on top that's rotten, but the frame underneath as well. So whilst that's a massive inconvenience for me, there is a little bit of good from this because the deck step frame is a miniature version of how you'd make your very own decking frame. So if you always want to make your own deck, this is a really easy way for me to show you in a bit of a scale version so you know how to do it. So let's crack on. To make your own deck frame, first of all, you need to know the width and the depth of your very own deck, or in my case, my step. I'm using treated 2x4 because the step's not very big and not very heavyweight, but if you're doing a deck, use 2x6. I just think it's a bit stronger. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got my width here, which is 1100 mil or 1.1 meters, and then I need it to be 90 centimeters deep, which is what the step is. Now, these are 45 mil each or 4.5 centimeters, so 90 minus 9 equals 81. So these are 81 centimeters long. And once I combine the three of these together, that will make my full 90 centimeters. You keeping up? Now, in order to make sure that I put this square, you want to mark out exactly where the centers of the timber are going to be. Ideally, you want them 400 mil centers or 40 centimeters. And the easy way to do that, take a tape measure, stick it straight across there and go, right, there's 0, you know there's going to be 1 there. 40 centimeters, mark a line on both sides there. 80 centimeters, again, mark a line on both sides there, and it should be 120 at the end, but this is 110, so you know that's the end. You don't need to mark it. Now that I know where my centers are, all I've got to do is just place the shorter bits in line with them, and don't be accurate with it. You can just kind of roughly see where the center of the board is and go from there, and I'll put those against those like so there, and remember the two ends, just stick them straight on the end, and you've got your very own half a frame. To connect the frame, I've just got these frame construction screws, and I'll put 2 in either end just to keep it nice and secure. Now, there's a reason I like to use these styles. First of all, if you've got a Phillips one and you start shredding it, it's a nightmare to get out, whereas this has got a hex head which sits perfectly in my drill like that, so it's easy to clamp it in. And if you screw it hard enough, it's got no thread here, which means it pulls the frame closer and actually holds it together tighter, which is what you want when you've got a step. Right, that's the first half in and it's nice and secure. You can flip your deck over now and pop your new timber on the other side. And because you've drawn all the lines already, you know exactly where to connect it. Now, it's always sod's law that the end doesn't actually perfectly line up, and you can just give it a little encouragement with a mallet, or if you're lazy like me, the back of your drill. Next up, it's the deck boards. And these are just as simple. What I've done is I've cut them the same width as the step, and all you gotta do is just pop these in place and use a really good decking screw in order to be able to attach these, because a lot of people cheap out on this. It's not worth it. A good deck screw has a nice little open bit here where it'll pull the wood in, just like the framing screw, and do 2 screws in each one of these legs here. Don't go for one in the middle here, because as it starts to kind of wet and dry, it'll bow out and it'll look shit. So do it properly. Having spacing between your deck is massively important as well, because if you put it too close together, this gets wet and it expands, it will start to bow and look crap, and we don't want that. Now, remember, this is a beginner's show, so I don't have any professional spacers that I'm going to be showing you here. Instead, you can either use a chisel just to kind of sit that you know there, or just a bit of scrap wood. As long as it's about 3 mil thick, you should be okay. You can even get away with using about 3 bank cards if you want to. That's a good width too, but that gives you an idea of how far to space it.
Now, I toyed with the idea of showing you how to do this with 3 bank cards, but then I remembered that I'm filming this in 4K, and quite frankly, I enjoy my own money.
It's not looking too bad, is it? Now, the top is done perfectly, but I still have some rough edges. So I'm gonna get a second board, and I'm gonna show you how to put a nice decorative edge on it. Now, to get a nice decorative finish on the edge of your deck, I've got a spare deck board here, and what I'm gonna do is measure right to the end, which is the 110 centimeters, and I'm gonna just draw a line there to mark roughly where it is. And I want this to stick out 45 degrees, so when it butts together, it makes a really nice finish. You can use 2 things to do this. You can use a set square, which are relatively easy to get, and draw that. But if you don't have one of those, a saw actually has a little 45-degree angle thing here. So you can pop that, if I get it the right way around, I can never figure it out, that way, and then draw that line, and again, mark the perfect 45. Pretty simple stuff. Now, I know what people are like. They're gonna say, well, it's just gonna cut a 45-degree angle with a miter saw, and it's gonna look perfect, blah, 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 blah. How do you do it with a handsaw? It's not that easy. Well, I'm here to tell you it is. Get 2 scrap boards and mark 45 degrees off and just cut along the board as flat as you can to make 2 little triangles. I then pop them in line with where we drew that previous line to see where the edge of the board is, and then you can screw these in place. What you then want to do is rest a handsaw along this so that it sits perfectly smooth and start cutting away. This is known as a miter cut, and it'll cut it at 45 degrees. So you can do it with a handsaw, but I'm going to do it with a power saw because, well, I'm better at this.
Now, a little lesson here for you all. If you decide to publicly say you're better than someone at something, then make sure you're able to back it up, and don't accidentally put the miter the wrong way, and therefore not right. Luckily for me, this is my show, so I can do this perfectly and pretend that nothing ever went wrong.
Aha! Now, if your edge is too tall for the step, don't worry. All you want to do is turn it upside down, place it right against the deck, and get a pen and just draw a line like this. What you can then do is cut this, and then the rough edge will be at the bottom, nice edge at the top.
It's amazing what you can learn in a 5-minute tutorial. You've just learnt now how to make your very own decking frame, and it really is that simple. As you can see, the edges are looking nice and clean. So yeah.
Not bad. Look at that. 1 replacement step for our deck. And again, an easy way to show you how to make your very own decking frame. And as you can see, it's really not that difficult. So now you'll be able to try it at home.
Now, if you're watching this thinking, oh, that's fantastic, I've now learnt how to make a deck, but how do I fix this to the ground? Well, funnily enough, I've just realised that I've covered the part where I'm supposed to put the legs.
Oh, for f***'s sake.
Now, if you're wondering why this was a day later than the rest of the episodes, well, this is what happened. You see, there are some cons to filming a show and running a business at the same time. There's always a spanner in the works.
I'm just checking if you made that delivery to Birmingham.
I think the lads have got it in the van today. Why?
Because I've called them and they don't.
Right. Well, it's not the end of the world. We'll deliver it tomorrow.
They've got their builders coming in tomorrow, so it has to be today.
Right. Do we have any more trucks?
No.
All right, leave it with me.
This was not part of the schedule, and I needed to come up with a plan, and fast. Luckily for you guys, I came up with a genius idea. Now, I've put my Mini through its paces over the last few years as a workhorse, but trying to load a whole porch kit inside of it, this could be a bit of a challenge. Hopefully it holds it.
I tell you what, say what you want about the Mini Countryman, it definitely is a workhorse. Let's hope I make it there now. Ow. Alright. This is probably safe, right?
It's worth mentioning here that I completely forgot that I'd taken my microphone off in my panic, so the next scene you're about to experience is purely filmed on my iPhone, and with no professional microphones. Sorry. Luckily, I'm not saying much, just reassuring phrases to comfort myself.
I've never seen Final Destination. I've never seen Final Destination. I've never seen Final Destination. Slight update on what's going on. I just took a sharp right turn and this here fell down and is now in line with my face. So, yeah, I think I'm going to die.
Despite my concerns of death, I actually did make it.
See, I know how to reverse this because this has the thingy-mibobs that the van doesn't have. So I just wait for the beep, beep, beep. There it is. See? Get these in vans.
With a slightly bowed roof rack and a very confused builder, we actually managed to get this delivered. It only took a short 5 hours out of my day.
Right, I've pulled up because I don't think the builders wanted to see me any longer than they needed to, but we got it delivered. I think if we learned something today, it's you don't need a van. Just buy a Mini Countryman. Also, if Mini would like to endorse me for that, that'd be great. Yeah.
Good morning. Now, it's the final day, and I thought I'd finally get this step up in order to replace it with the new one. Some revelation, I don't think this has ever actually fixed the ground. I thought originally it was because it was rotted, but it turns out it's just been freestanding this whole time, so it's a nice flat base. I'm just going to replace it and screw it to the deck. In typical fashion, there was something in the way, which meant I couldn't just pull it away. Now, annoyingly, the one thing stopping me from just pulling this away is this blimmin' switch here, which I've got to be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea what it's connected to. I have followed the lines and it seems to go to a power source but not go anywhere else. And I've been turning it on, off to see if it does anything with the lights and it seems to be nothing. So I just have this vision there's someone in the village whose lights keep flickering on and off because I'm just like this. In an interesting revelation, it turns out that underneath the deck there actually was a wire. Good news, I found out what the wires are for. They are attached to absolutely nothing. So there's just been live electrics under my feet this whole time. Lovely. With the deck safely removed and the wires disconnected away from the wall, whilst the power's off, may I add, I could focus on the next task. The reason the first step was so rotten was because it was directly on the ground. There's nothing protecting it from the surface water seeping up and effectively ingressing straight into the wood and rotting it down. Now, you could put 4 legs on, bury it, add some concrete and hold it in place, but honestly, the easiest thing you can do for something like this, especially if it's a flat base, is get yourself an old council slab like these. I've got a couple broken in the back garden, and just smash it up. Now, what you want to do is create 4 corners. Remember, this is not very big, so it doesn't matter, but put 4 corners in and put the actual step on top of this. As a result, what you'll find is this will stop any water from coming from the bottom, but also hold it in place. And once I've screwed it to that part of the deck over there, it's not going anywhere. Now, I'm sure there are going to be landscapers all over the country shouting from every corner telling me it's wrong. But look, here's the situation. If you're a beginner and you're not really keen on having a cement mixer or putting things in the ground, this is an easy, quick fix. Not only does it keep the water away, but it's attached to the deck, so it's not going anywhere.
Not bad, eh?
Once I levelled the deck on top of the ground, I removed the top board and screwed it directly into the old deck. And as a result, it's fixed in place nice and sturdy. Got that screwed in, pop the top plank on top, and you're all good to go. Right, there we go. One problem down. We've now got the step fixed and it's nice and solid. I had some treatment in the springtime. I'm not going to worry about it now while it's wet and windy. I'm not going to relax though, because there's still one more job I've got to tackle, and that is the roof. Now, the weather has not been our friend when it's come to this repair job. Unfortunately, it's still a little bit rainy and it's going to chuck it down today, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So this beading, first of all, I have taken away from all of the tops of the slats here. And as you can see, there's still a little bit of a gap here. I was hoping that this would soak in some water, stretch, and as a result, hold it in place, but that hasn't happened. So what you want to do is get yourself a really good external grade sealant and work all the way through the gaps here and hold it in place. Make sure it's a good roof grade one because it's actually a little bit stretchy and this wood will start to move over time in the season. Give it a couple hours so it's nice and tacky, and then place the battening back on and really tighten it on. What that'll do is push the sealant in between the gaps and hold it in place, but also means that this will stay watertight too. And as a result, we should have a waterproof roof. Now, the cool thing about gardening is that things do go wrong. It's never going to be perfect. It'd be lovely if it was. But by having these mistakes in the show, you know, at least I know what happens if I try and shortcut it. So make sure you do it right the first time. And as a result, you'll end up with a nice happy roof. Luckily, it is going to get a little bit warmer over the weekend, so next week I can show you the progress and let you know whether it's worked. But I'm pretty sure that a little bit of sealant should solve the problem. One of the things I hope you take from this show is that nothing gets done instantly. I mean, we're halfway through February, we're episode 7, and as you can see, in terms of things that we planted that are pretties and nice, none of that's happened whatsoever. And it's not a bad thing. In fact, this is gardening. It's a case of getting the area prepped and getting it all started and doing the nitty-gritty, mucky stuff in the winter, ready for an amazing summer. So if you ever worry that you're not getting stuff done in time, please don't panic. There's so much more that needs to be done in the garden right now in preparation. And we'll start doing all the flowers and plants in the next few months. But for now, get the bare bones done. And as a result, your garden will look fantastic. Now, I do feel quite excited because I fixed the roof. I've managed to put the step in and I've done pretty much every job. Not been a bad week, eh? I forgot the Christmas lights. Annoyingly, it was about to rain, so there was only one place I could put these Christmas lights. Ah! Now, in my defense, you did say to bring the Christmas lights in.
I hate this show.